As you can see here, we have a Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge that is in less than ideal condition. It's very hot actually, but it's in less than ideal condition. As you can tell, the display has a small scratch on it. I don't know if you can see where it is. There's a small scratch right there. The rest of it's in perfect condition though, but I'm honestly just, so I hate scratches on my phone, so I'm going to go ahead and replace the display on this with one that doesn't have that scratch on it. No, but in all seriousness, this thing's completely trashed, and we're going to completely refurbish it with a brand new display, a brand new frame assembly, and a brand new back cover. So the entire outer look of the device is going to be completely replaced and brand new. We'll just be transferring over the motherboard and then some other internal components into a new display slash frame assembly. So if you're wondering, you can actually get replacement display assemblies. I have one right here. This is the one I'll be using. So this is just a display and frame assembly that was pulled off another Galaxy S7 Edge. This one's black. I got the black one because the silver was out of stock, but the colors don't matter. It's all about the internal components. Worst case scenario, maybe in some random menu somewhere it may identify it as a silver one when it's actually black, but that rarely ever happens, and nobody is honestly going to care. And the replacement back panel I bought is also black, so it's obviously going to be all the same color. The only difference is the SIM tray is obviously the original silver. So that's going to look different, but no big deal. I don't think anyone's really going to care. But yeah, so we're just going to open this up and move all the internals to this new display and frame assembly, and all the internal components, and then we should be good to go. So we're going to do that right now and see if we can't completely refurbish this destroyed S7 Edge into one that's in mint condition. And yeah, and then maybe we can even work on a Galaxy S7 Edge review. So that would be great. So let's see what we can do with this thing. So it is working. As you can see, the display is obviously dead, but obviously the device is fully working. It's charging normally. All the sound effects are still there. Everything's still functional. It's just the display, well, I mean, everything internally, importantly, is still functional. It's just everything cosmetically is pretty badly messed up. I do not want to know what happened to this poor little guy. But either way, look at that. He will definitely receive a makeover, he or she. I don't want to assume the phone's gender. Whatever. It's a joke. It's a joke, guys. It's a joke. But anyway, so we're going to get this phone all opened up. We're going to open it up, and we're going to see what's inside of it. So the very first thing we need to do is obviously make sure the device is off. In this case, it is turned off. There is no... It's not on at all. The battery's fully dead on it. So... first thing we need to do is we need to get our heat gun and heat up this back panel so we can pry off this back panel. Now, because of how shattered, how incredibly shattered this back panel is, this is either going to be extremely easy or incredibly painful and difficult, because there's going to be glass shards going pretty much everywhere, because this is at the point where the Gorilla Glass 4 is no longer smooth to the touch. If you run your fingers across it on certain parts, you will feel shards of glass. If you had a mild crack in it, it would still be smooth, but with how much shattering is here, that's obviously not going to be a thing anymore. So yeah, we're just going to pull off the back panel and get into it. So now we've used our heat gun, which is over here, and we've almost completely removed the glass panel. However, because of how shattered this glass panel is, we have some glass shards behind. This is obviously very dangerous. So since it's late at night, I don't feel like running the vacuum right now to clean up all these glass shards. You can just get a piece of tape and just use that to gently and carefully remove the glass from whatever surface it's sitting on. So as long as you're careful, making sure it's not dropping shards anywhere, you can use this as an easy little makeshift solution to get little bits of glass off any surface. And I understand it's probably not a good idea to use a heat gun directly on a mouse pad, but yeah, I like to live life on the edge. The Galaxy S7 Edge. Now, as you can see, the shattered back panel has been removed. We have glass all over the place. Here's the back of the GS7 Edge. Still the front. So now we just need to remove a bunch of these screws, pull off the plastic assemblies, and then go from there. Now that the back panel is off and we removed all the screws and have them set aside, just take a pair of tweezers and put it in this tiny little notch on the side right here, and then pop this plate off, and then do the same for the other two for the wireless charging coil and the loudspeaker. Be very careful with these so you don't scratch the board, and especially around the wireless charging. The next step is incredibly important. You want to make sure you're using your plastic pry tool because it's non-conductive. Go to where the connector on the battery is and make sure, it's hard to do with one hand, make sure to disconnect that battery. So that way there's no current going through the phone and you don't have to worry about anything frying your phone or potentially exploding. Because the S7 Edge is a great phone and you don't want it upgrading to the Galaxy Note 7. So make sure your battery is disconnected. So now we unclipped all the ribbons from the motherboard and we put it in the new display and frame assembly. So the last thing, we do need to transfer a couple other components. We need to transfer the earpiece and the front-facing camera. We need to transfer the vibration motor and two of the wires from the charging port, and then of course the battery. So we're going to transfer not the battery but the rest of the components first, and then we're going to be able to test it. So the device is working, doing a test. Not all the components are in. There's still some components I need to move over, as you can see, but I got enough to test out the screen. The screen is working, and now there's no battery in it, so I can't fully boot it up, but if we hold the power button, we can see the boot screen where it says Galaxy S7 Edge. Sorry for the exposure, but so we can tell it is working. So the display on this is good, and we can continue with the repair. So now I've officially transferred over all of the smaller components that previously had not been in the frame, such as the loudspeaker and the sensor for the proximity sensor, some of the ribbon cables, the headphone jack, and a couple other things that weren't present in this frame assembly. Thankfully, those were all intact on the original S7 Edge, despite its external condition. So we're going to put clamp everything back, or we're going to connect everything, and then finally, before we put the battery in, we're going to turn it on, test it, make sure everything works on it before we finally glue down the battery. So there's the battery. Managed to pry it out fairly decently. Didn't end up puncturing it. Let's see when this battery was manufactured. Samsung SDI. This was the same factory that later ended up making the defective batteries in the first batch of Galaxy Note 7s. And like those Note 7s, actually no, even though this one was made in China. The cells, I believe, from those Note 7s were manufactured in Korea. Or at least the defective ones were. The fine ones, or at the time, the considered fine ones, had come out of China. So the date on this is covered up by this piece of tape. Not sure why this is on there. I'm not sure if a repair person put that on there. I'm not going to remove that. I'm going to guess that's a 6 that's being covered up. That's not a 5. I can tell it's a 6. Probably 2016. But yeah, so we're going to put this battery in here. Because I have not, of course, if I decide that the battery life is not satisfactory, I can always purchase a replacement battery later on. Nothing's stopping me from doing that. But in the meantime, also it looks like it's not going to sit flush because the battery is a little bit bent. But that's okay. I mean, it's not okay, but we'll make do with it. It's probably not going to explode. It's going to be fine. It'll be fine. As someone who's worked with plenty of Note 7s, I have zero fear of phones exploding anymore. Frankly, you shouldn't be too if you're going to be in this business. Let's see if we can't power this on. Nothing. Looks like everything's connected. We're gonna plug this in. Hold on. My room's a mess, please excuse that. So we're just gonna plug this in. And see what it does. So we get the charging light. %. So it is charging. So we're gonna let this charge for a little bit. We're gonna put it back together and we're gonna test it out. So now as we can see, the phone is fully working. The only unfortunate part is it's on Sprint. Freaking Sprint. But, you know. Also, it has a pin. I thought it didn't have a pin. Whenever I got it, I didn't see a pin from a little bit of the screen was still working. But it looks like it was just recently. Okay, now it's dead. But it asked for a pin. So I'm going to put the back glass on. And I just need to get this thing, you know, if it might have, I'm assuming it's going to have a Google account on it. So if I obviously force reset it because I'm not having the pin, I'll have to do an FRP bypass. But we'll see. Maybe I won't have to. Maybe it looks like this person barely even touched the phone. So we'll see. Maybe they didn't have an account on there and this will be a lot easier. Or maybe it'll be absolutely terrible and this money would have been pretty much wasted. But that's the exciting part about this. So let's grab. I actually didn't even open it. Where did I put it? Yeah, okay, over here. So we have the back glass. So we're gonna open this up. So I'm currently editing this video, and I just realized that while editing this video, I didn't get any footage of the back glass panel. So as an update, I don't have the S7 Edge anymore. I actually just sold it a couple hours ago. But basically to illustrate, I got the replacement back glass panel. This is my Note 5 just for illustrative purposes. But I got the back glass panel. It already had adhesive pre-applied to it. So I just stuck it on the back, made sure it was lined up correctly just like I did with this Note 5. And I set it down and pressed it down so the adhesive stuck to the back. And it looked just like this Note 5 does, where it now has a brand new shiny back panel and the phone's fully working. So I hope you guys enjoyed this repair video of my Galaxy S7 Edge. And next will likely, if I can find the footage, be the repair video of this Galaxy Note 5. I don't know if I did a video on this one. I know I did the one on my personal Note 5. But if I can find the footage for this one as well, then I'll also upload the repair video from this Note 5. Anyway guys, this is Intelitech Studio signing out. I hope you guys enjoyed this repair video, and if this helped you guys repair your own device, then definitely let me know. I'm really glad to be able to hear your guys' repair stories because I love getting these things back up and running and keeping them out of landfills, making sure that they get a nice second lease on life and get to someone who definitely needs them, especially because I get to fix these, which I find very rewarding to do, and I also get to sell them to other people who need more phones. So anyway guys, this was Intelitech Studio signing out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.